I went to Hampshire College right after high school. I guess I got there in the fall of 1980, I guess. And at the time it was still a new college. It had been formed by the other schools in the area. So Amherst, UMass, Mount Holyoke, and Smith College. This is in the Pioneer Valley in Massachusetts. And I guess starting in the 50s even, they had meetings to discuss the future of education and creating a new model for education. And ultimately that's how Hampshire College was born. So there were no grades. There were concentrations, as we called them, as opposed to majors. We lived in donuts and in mods, not apartments. There was a lot of communal living. In many ways, for a lot of young people today, for millennials today, a lot of the values at Hampshire would seem very commonplace. Issues that were around women's rights and social justice and sustainable agriculture. These were all things that were very much a part of the Hampshire experience. And it was something that was successful if you were really, really self-motivated. So I think we all pretty much went through our ups and downs with that. In the early in the first semester, I found myself, not going to a certain class because, I was busy, wanted to go into the practice rooms and play the piano or whatever. So, I found that I, would hit my walls and have to kind of relearn how to deal with it. But it was in many ways an incredible experience because there were so many people there with a lot of ideas and the boundaries were down. And I should also back up and say I went to a very conservative, very traditional private high school from 8th grade to 12th grade, where we wore jackets and ties and did all of that. So, going from my high school experience to my college experience was a huge, huge shift. And I was always giggling about the difference. The very first Halloween party there, people were naked. There were kids who were just in paint, and that was it. And it was definitely an eye-opener. I made a lot of good friends who were very, very creative, who were interested in music and art and painting and drawing, but again, in issues around social justice and trying to uplift those in our society that were falling behind. So I guess I was really impacted by those values, and they stayed with me. But the single thing I guess I would pin on Hampshire is that it really did give me the feeling that if you had an idea for something, that you could do it, and if you had an idea for something, you needed to put consistent effort into it. And in many ways, that's how the Lennon Bus was born and how it's been kept alive. So I guess I can credit that to some of the experience in Hampshire.